Hi everybody, it's your girl Tofu. Welcome to my Life is Strange reflection slash review video. Lord knows I've had plenty of time to reflect upon this game considering I finished it like 2 months ago. So let's hop into it. Before I begin, I just want to make some general ass observations. Firstly, I really like that the developers made this game its kind of own thing while keeping so much of the familiarity from Life is Strange 1. For example, the music. The music had the same kind of feel to it that Life is Strange 1 had, but it was a completely different set of music, a completely different soundtrack, and I really liked that they did choose to go with completely different music instead of just recycling the music from Life is Strange 1. I think that was a really great decision on their part, because I don't want to play Life is Strange 1 again. I mean, I totally do, but that's besides the point. Like, when I played Life is Strange Before the Storm, I did want something different. I didn't just want a reiteration, a complete mirror of what we did in Life is Strange 1. I did want something a little bit different. I think they delivered on that front, that this game was a little bit different, but it did keep a lot of the familiarity from Life is Strange 1. So had it played the same, I would control Chloe or whoever I was playing, and I would interact with an object in the same way as I did in Life is Strange 1. So that's just kind of my biggest observation about the game. I liked that they kind of kept it different. They also took some good parts from Life is Strange 1 that we did like. Great, wonderful, positivity, yes, 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 positivity. And now I want to talk about what went well in the game, what I liked in the game, because there are a lot of things I didn't like. So let's talk about what I did like and try to remain positive here when I'm literally the least positive person you've probably ever met. Okay. Things that I liked. I liked the familiar fucking environments. I liked revisiting Blackwell. I liked revisiting Chloe's house with fucking Joyce and fucking David Madsen. I thought that was great. I really enjoyed seeing familiar environments, and I really liked seeing different environments. Cool. Though I must admit, being in Chloe's house was kind of haunting. I don't want to like just write it off as, oh, it was uncomfortable to be there. No, it was a little bit eerie to be there. Because on one hand, Chloe's house feels warm and kind of welcoming and cozy and familiar and nostalgic, but on the other hand, there's just so much fucking emotional baggage being back in the house with Chloe and Joyce and Madsen, and it kind of felt haunted. It kind of felt a little bit, it had a certain like, oh no, like a certain feeling of dread, like something's kind of like about to happen. And I think that makes sense considering we all kind of know what's about to happen. I mean, depending on your choices or whatever, but yes, we all kind of know what's gonna happen, right? Like, and that feeling of dread just kind of stuck with me whenever I was in Chloe's house. But I actually really liked it. I really enjoyed that they brought back some of the environments that we so know, especially like the junkyard. Oh my god. I loved seeing the junkyard. I really did. I thought that was great, and to see it in the context of Rachel and Chloe's relationship, fantastic. Beautifully done, beautifully executed. Even though I didn't like the very kind of first scene that Rachel and Chloe had in the junkyard, I did like the subsequent scenes where they're just kind of hanging out, or like, hey, let's go to the junkyard, or meet you at the junkyard, like, let's hang out after whatever, you know, like that. I really enjoyed that, and you could really just get a feel for their friendship, relationship, whatever you want to call it. Relationship, I think it was a relationship. The end. One of the biggest things that I loved about Life is Strange 1 is how creative some of the storytelling was, some of the storytelling methods, right? Even though I did feel like Life is Strange Before the Storm had some real issues with storytelling, there was one sequence in particular that I thought was really, really creative, and it was a sequence when Rachel shows Chloe the story of Rachel's parents, kind of, and there was like a spotlight of going from one part of history to the next that detailed Sarah and James' romantic relationship, and when Rachel came into that picture, and I thought that was really creatively done, and it was a way for us to experience what happened without having to do a series of weird flashbacks or anything. I thought like it was a really great sequence. I loved it. Do I need to say more? Something else that I really enjoyed about Life is Strange Before the Storm is Dungeons and Dragons. I thought it was such a cool, like, little tidbit. It was kind of random in my opinion, but like, I just thought it was such a cool thing that they put a game within a game, and I just thought it was so much fun, and it was super cool to play with other characters. I was lucky enough that in my playthrough, I was able to play both the Dungeons and Dragons in the school's courtyard with Steph and what's his name, and Mikey, and that I also got to play it in the hospital with Drew and Mikey and Steph. I really just appreciated that. Like, that was just so much fun to do. I think it just brought a little bit of lightheartedness to the game. A game where feels kind of defeated sometimes because you just know what's gonna happen, and that sucks. But I really enjoyed how they chose to make the game a little more happy in this moment. So I really like the Dungeons and Dragons part. Great, fantastic. Something that I really enjoyed about Before the Storm is that Chloe had the graffiti thing, kind of like how Max had the photography thing. Like, I thought that was a really cool parallel, and it paid homage to one of the mechanics in Life is Strange 1, but it also made it an original thing that personified Chloe well. I think it really says something about the character, the way they kind of choose to express themselves. Max was a little more subtle, a little more shy. She would take a picture and it would never leave a mark on anything, except it was just something that she could have by herself. But with Chloe, the ways that she would choose to express herself is a little more rebellious, a little more overt, and she always chose to leave her mark behind, or whatever, was actually physically making a mark on something. Like, it did impact the actual things that she was expressing. She wrote on the mirror in the girls' bathroom. Whenever she'd graffiti something, it was there for a while. Like, it was a lot less subtle and a lot more risky, whereas Max was definitely not the most risky person, risky character. This mechanic really drew attention to the contrast between the two main characters, the main character of Life is Strange 1 and the main character of Before the Storm, and how different they are, even if they're still expressing themselves creatively. Something else that I really liked was all the moments with William, where Chloe would see William, and every single time, like, the result was kind of the same. He'd get run over. Like, those were haunting. Those kind of disturbed me a little bit, and that's what I wanted to see more of. So I wanted more uncomfortable, real moments. I wanted a certain rawness, a certain amount of tension. Those scenes with William were actually impactful, and it really allowed me to understand Chloe a little bit better, and her grief and what she kind of had to go through, because I'll admit this, in Life is Strange 1, I think I was really, really harsh on her. Oh my god, get over it, girl. And then the moments with William really allowed me to understand exactly what she was going through, exactly what she was feeling and experiencing, and how real the grief was to her. She would dream, not quite hallucinate, but she would dream very tangible interactions with her deceased father, who was killed in a fairly violent way. Car crashes, like, fairly violent in my opinion. The reason why I enjoy that so much is that's because what I wanted in Life is Strange Before the Storm. I wanted to understand Chloe, and that's probably the most impactful and positive things about Life is Strange Before the Storm, is that it allowed me to understand Chloe. So that's pretty dope. All right, it is time to talk about what I did not like about this fucking game. There's quite a bit. Most of my complaints probably have something to do with Rachel. Rachel fucking Amber. Holy shit. Okay, before I say anything about Rachel, I do want to say that I think she had a lot of potential as a character. When I thought about Rachel in Life is Strange 1, whenever she was mentioned, whenever she was talked about, whenever someone just have an offhand comment about Rachel, I imagined something very, very specific. And in some ways, that expectation was met, and in so many fucking other ways, it was just ignored. Like, it just wasn't even there. And what I was imagining in particular was someone like Sam from, I think her name was Sam from Perks of Being a Wallflower, or the girl Donna from Mamma Mia, the prequel. Like, I imagine someone who's kind of larger than life and has so much energy and is kind of crazy, kind of wild, but doesn't really care about what people think of her, and she was just unapologetically herself, and she would do crazy things like dance and sing whenever she wanted. I was just imagining someone like those characters. So free-spirited, so adventurous, so willing to just take everything that she wanted from the world and just make it hers. She had goals and aspirations, and most importantly, she had like a fire. No, like, pun intended, but she just had a fire inside of her. She was just such a passionate individual. Like, the most passionate individual you have ever fucking met. That's what I was imagining Rachel fucking Amber to be. Instead, what I got from Rachel fucking Amber was a brat. She just came off as such an entitled piece of shit. Or just a really dumb fucking person. I was imagining someone spontaneous, adventurous, free-spirited, who just wanted to go out and do everything at once. Like, that's what I was imagining. And to some degree, I got that. Like, especially in the scene where the Tempest, the entire Tempest sequence, I got that part of Rachel that I so desperately wanted. I got the part where she was spontaneous and she started ad-libbing with Chloe. Like, that was such a cool scene. And the spontaneity also kind of arose when she and Chloe kissed, or when they were making plans about how they could leave Arcadia Bay. Like, or when Rachel and Chloe were on the train and they were playing Two Truths and a Lie. Like, that was what I wanted. Fun, free-spirited, spontaneous, adventurous, has great plans to do great things, and more importantly, just having kind of fun, you know, just having a bunch of fun. And instead, what I got from Rachel fucking Amber was just a load of shit. Generally speaking, Rachel's just an entitled fucking brat for the entirety of the game. Like, that's just how I perceived her. I could not stand her fucking character. I thought she was, like, literally stupid at points. For example, when she got stabbed, yeah, fucking dumb, and she deserved it. I thought Rachel was pretty, like, a decent character, even with the whole weird junkyard scene when Rachel was like, oh my god, tell me how you feel. And Chloe was like, are you really gonna make me say it? I like you, like, more than friends. Like, that, it was like a little bit of a weird scene, but I still, like, enjoyed it, you know? I started to hate Rachel as soon as she found out her dad was having an affair, kind of, you know, like with Sarah. She saw them together and she burned the picture of her dad and started a forest fire with screaming. Like, I feel like a more normal reaction for a 16-year-old, if their parents were getting divorced, I should know, is more like, okay, fuck, it sucks, whatever. Like, it's more like, why the fuck did this happen? Like, holy shit, like, what is this? But you can be confused, you can be hurt, you can be resentful, you can be bitter, but like, screaming because you're in such agony over the dissolution of your parents' marriage because you had such a protected upbringing, because James would never let you fucking grow up and he would coddle you to the point of, like, idiocy. I'm sorry. I just thought that was so stupid. That was the dumbest fucking scene I've seen. Like, they were trying, she's just, like, over dramatic and she's theatrical, and maybe that's what makes her, like, a good actress. But, like, honestly, like, that entire scene, I was like, this is dumb. Rachel fucking Amber. Oh my god, I literally despise this girl. Like, she got stabbed by her own fault. She literally clocked Damon over the head, and that's how she got stabbed. I'm not sure Damon would have stabbed her if she had not, like, tried to hurt him at first. And yeah, he was threatening. Yeah, this was kind of a dangerous position to be in. But you know what doesn't really help dangerous situations? Violence of any kind. And what did Rachel do? She decided to go whack on Damon's fucking head. I would be pissed if I was Damon too. I mean, I may not have stabbed her, but, like, I probably would have gotten physical at that point if someone's getting physical with me, or I'd just, like, run away. But Damon's not that fucking type of person, you know? Like, I thought she deserved the stabbing. I thought the thing with the fire, her starting a forest fire with her crazy ass emotions, was stupid. And that just brings me to my entire issue with Life is Strange Before the Storm. I wanted Chloe. I wanted more of Chloe. I wanted Chloe, Joyce, Madsen. Yeah, that was like a huge central focus of the game, but then somewhere along the lines, people decided that Rachel needed to have a dramatic fucking story with her parents and her familial relations and Sarah and Damon and drugs, her mom giving her up, you know, like, bullshit. That is such a dumb story. Like, Rachel already has the most dramatic of storylines. She fucking dies. Is that not dramatic enough for you? Like, we already know the impending doom of her death. Like, we don't need to make it more special by adding in all this bullshit of her fucking parents doing stupid ass shit. Like, the whole thing with James, he coddles her. Like, maybe that's why she's just such a fucking brat, is because her parents overprotected her. So she's just so fucking naive about everything. The biggest problem I have with the whole Rachel storyline is it diminished Chloe. Like, it just took away the time I wanted with Chloe. I wanted 3 episodes with Chloe, with Rachel interspersed as appropriate. Instead, I got maybe like 40% of, like, Chloe, and then the remaining 60% was just with Rachel fucking Amber. Chloe had real fucking problems. Her dad died. Her mom's remarrying someone who's not the easiest person to fucking like. She's not doing well in school. Her life is kind of falling apart. And I think she has a reason to kind of fall apart. And then there's fucking Rachel Amber, who has this perfect ass little life. Oh no, her biological mom's a drug addict. Oh no, like, oh no, there might be a slightly complicated family situation. Like, Chloe's dad died. Chloe's best friend leaves her. And then Chloe's, like, slightly romantic or maybe, like, partner, Rachel, dies. And then Chloe dies. Like, Chloe's story is so fucking tragic. And even Rachel's is tragic. Like, we don't need to add in bullshit just to, like, fluff up the storyline. Like, you could have given me literally like an entire episode just wandering around Chloe's house and I probably would have been like, please. Like, the bullshit with Rachel's storyline just pissed me off. That should not have even been a thing, and that's just my opinion. When I think about Rachel Amber, instead of being like, oh my god, that's so tragic, oh my god, like, that story makes me want to cry, instead I'm like, she was annoying as fuck, glad she died. So many of us have so much shit going on in our lives, right? And we've all had to deal with like some crazy fucking stuff, right? And then Rachel trivializes it. Oh no, like, you have problems? Let's set the forest on fire. Can't relate. That's probably my biggest complaint about Life is Strange Before the Storm. Rachel's fucking storyline. And there were moments that I like was okay with it, but the focus was somehow not on Chloe. It was helping Rachel get through her shit. I didn't want to have to help Rachel do this, Rachel do that, because she's so fucking coddled and she's not independent and she can't do anything by herself and she's just so completely reliant on her parents. I fucking hate Rachel. That's all. To conclude, I think she was a poorly constructed character, which is so disappointing because I think she had so much potential as a character. Like, any time like she'd kind of like enter a scene or a sequence, I was just kind of like, oh no. How is she gonna fuck it up this time? The focus was just on the wrong thing. It should never have been Rachel, it should have been Chloe. The end. Something that I really hated about this game was Elliot. Or as I like to call him, knockoff Warren. He has the same kind of role. He's in there, Chloe's not interested, just like Max wasn't really interested in Warren, even though like I wanted her to be, whatever. My decisions made for a decent outcome for that scenario, even though in the end, I shipped Max and Chloe together, but whatever. Elliot is just such a piece of shit, and he was so creepy. Like, what was the point of that? I felt like that never got really resolved. And that kind of bothers me when things aren't resolved in a story. It just kind of felt like it came out of nowhere. When Chloe and Elliot were in James' office and he was like, Rachel's so bad for you. Like, why can't you see that? And he was just being super overprotective and over-controlling. Like, I kind of, like, I know that there were kind of hints leading up to that, like, that he was kind of creepy and everyone kind of knew about that. But, like, I had no idea. It just felt like it came out of nowhere. I felt like there was no real character development. And I just thought it was, again, like, overdramatic and unnecessary. And we had to kind of like call 911 on him because he was being so weird. I chalk it up to mental illness. Whatever. I felt like that whole storyline never really got a resolution. There was nothing in there that kind of wrapped up the plot with him. He just went from kind of like 0 to 100 with a few hints in between of his creepiness. And then he got like uber creepy, and then that's kind of like it. Where did he go? Where did he move to? What happened to him? Maybe I just fucking missed it. It's entirely possible I missed a lot of shit. Like, again, I played this 2 months ago. I've revisited, I'd say, like, key moments of this playthrough, but, like, I guess I can't remember everything. I also missed things in my playthrough, so sue me. I like how this video is just kind of turned into me time. Just complaining about games and eating Chick-fil-A. Okay. Another thing I dislike, even though the animations were fairly smoother than Life is Strange 1, the audio was somehow choppier and grosser than Life is Strange 1. Because, like, I get that there was a sort of choppiness to Life is Strange 1, but I think that actually gave it character. I think that it made the story even better because it felt like a piece of artwork that you were kind of moving through. I kind of felt like you were interacting in a world where everything was kind of like watercolor. Like, that's how it felt to me. Like, things were watercolor. Everything was kind of hazy. It kind of seemed like a dream, and things were out of focus unless you were specifically looking at them and they were in your direct line of sight. Like, I love the kind of choppiness and the haziness, and things were kind of out of focus. It had such an artsy feel for Life is Strange 1. Life is Strange 2, the animations were smoother. Everything was a little bit clearer and crisper. Yes, that's good, but I didn't like it as much. And the audio, especially when fucking Rose was talking, you know, like Rachel's fucking mother, whenever she'd say anything, she sounded like a fucking robot, and it sounded like would say a whole sentence, but then they just cut off half of that sentence and only put in like the first 50% of that sentence into the actual game. Like, she sounded like this the entire fucking time. Like, she was just so boring. Like, even Connor from fucking Detroit Become Human, when he was before he was like a self-actualized android, he was just a straight up kind of cold-hearted, like nothingness of an android. Even then, he sounded 10 times more human than fucking Rose did.
So, you putting me to work or what?
Yes. If you could please take 4 plates.
You're not going to die. We're just going to talk. Nothing will happen to you. You have my word.
I'm gonna be fucking real with you guys. Life is Strange 1 is my favorite game of all time. And yeah, I haven't played that many games. And even though Horizon Zero Dawn might be my favorite action-adventure game, like, there's just a special place in my heart for Life is Strange. And people are like, oh, well, like, wait till you play this. And I'm like, yeah, that could be really really high up there on the list of games that I love. Because I've liked almost every single game I've played, but I think there will always be a special place in my heart for Life is Strange 1. And I think I attribute that to how artistic and creative and fresh everything felt. I don't think there was anything too dramatic, or if it was dramatic, it was in the right places. There was a certain degree of subtlety in Life is Strange 1 that I just felt was lacking in Life is Strange Before the Storm. And even in Life is Strange 2 a little bit, but that's a video for after we finish Life is Strange 2, I'm sure. Life is Strange 1, I swear to God, for like the first 2 or 3 episodes, yeah, I had so much fun with the first 2 or 3 episodes. Like, it was cool, it was fun, it was neat, I was having a fun time. I liked how relaxing, kind of low-key it was. I'm like, ooh, this is intriguing. Ooh, there's like rewind powers. Ooh, there's like a journal. Ooh, I can pick things up and read things and go to a diner. Oh my God, Chloe, you're back in my life. Oh my God, it's so cool. Like, yeah, the first 2 or 3 episodes were like low-key, high-key, whatever you want to call it. They were great, but they were kind of relaxing, kind of chill. There's something here, a little inkling of something here. It was kind of like a mystery. Like, you were just kind of in the dark. You just didn't know what to fucking expect, right? You're just like, I don't really know what type of game this is, but I kind of wonder where it's gonna go. And you get to like episode 4 and 5 and you're like, you're disturbed. You're highly fucking disturbed. Everything is falling apart. The ceiling, shit has hit it. Like, that is how fucking crazy it gets. Because we had 3 episodes to build all of the tension up. Those 3 more relaxed episodes set the groundwork for a fantastic story and a crazy, ridiculous, outrageous episodes 4 and 5. And with Life is Strange Before the Storm, there just wasn't as much groundwork, and that could be attributed to the fact that it was 3 episodes. But you can accomplish things in 3 episodes. You know, you could have laid all the groundwork in episode 1 and half of episode 2, and then at the end of episode 2, like something crazy would happen, right? Like Mr. Jefferson would get hired, or I don't know, like something crazy. Like episode 3, it's like, holy shit, what has just happened? Like, you can, like, even if it was a smaller amount of episodes, you still could have built something substantial out of it. But instead, like, first fucking episode, Rachel sets a forest on fire. Like, I'm sorry, what? In the end, I think that Life is Strange Before the Storm allowed me to love Chloe. I absolutely fell in love with her, and by the end of episode 5 of Life is Strange 1 even, like, I loved her. Like, I actually felt a connection to her. I loved her as a character. But like, at the end of Life is Strange Before the Storm, I knew her. Like, I could understand her. I finally understand why she is the way she is. I think that's just one of the biggest things that I lacked with Rachel. Is just, I never really got an explanation of why she is the way she is, or how she kind of got into the situation where she was dating Frank. I was hoping so much that Life is Strange Before the Storm, like one of the like climaxes of like episode 2 or something, like we'd get like a hint that Rachel and Frank were like a thing, you know? But I got none of that. Where did that go? I felt cheated out of that story, honestly. I mean, I got the origin story that I wanted for Chloe, and I think it was a positive thing. The only negative thing about Before the Storm is that I came away from it thinking that Rachel is an entitled bitch, and I'm not really all that like upset that she died. I'm like, gee, oh my God, that's horrible. But it's not like, I'm not like sad about it. Like Chloe's death, if I think about it, it makes me feel like shit. Rachel's death, I'm like, oh, it just kind of doesn't have as much meaning. And that sounds shitty for me to say, but that's just how I fucking feel. It's like, it has that same sort of detachment that, like, if you read in the newspaper that someone died, you're like, oh, that's so sad. And it's not like something that it's funny. It's not funny. It's like, oh my God, that's such a bad thing. Like, oh, sad. And then you never think of it again. Or it just seems kind of like far away. There's no like emotional attachment to it. It really, like, it's just kind of like, oh, that sucks. That's kind of how I feel about Rachel's death now. And I don't want to say that Life is Strange Before the Storm ruined Life is Strange 1. No, in a lot of ways it added to my experience, but in a lot of ways it detracted. It like actually ruined some shit for me. Like, because one of the most poignant moments when we uncover Rachel's body, or when we realize what happened with her and to her, and unfortunately, Before the Storm, the way that her storyline is presented, it no longer has the same impact. And if you liked Rachel, I'm sorry. This is just my opinion. You can go ahead and like Rachel. I think there are some qualities that are very likable about her. I just think she ruined Life is Strange Before the Storm. Well, guys, that is my reflections / review of Life is Strange Before the Storm. I think it was kind of messy and kind of like all over the place, but I think that's just, I think it's representative of how I feel about the game. It's kind of messy and it's kind of all over the place. In conclusion, like, I still enjoyed playing it. I still had a lot of fun with it. Maybe not for the right reasons at all the right times. Like when Rachel got stabbed, I think I was like dying of laughter. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. If anyone plays Life is Strange 1, I would recommend Life is Strange Before the Storm only if you want to find out more about Chloe, or if you want to get to know her a little bit more. If you want to uncover and unravel the mystery of what appears to be such a great character as Rachel fucking Amber, don't fucking play it. You will be disappointed. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I didn't piss you off too much. I get really passionate about my hatred for some characters, but I had a lot of fun even doing this review. So until the next episode of whatever we're doing, I hope you guys have a great day. Bye, guys.